All right. Edwin, do you see the live on your end?
I'm refreshing.
Okay.
If you're live, it should be live.
All right. Should be going. All right, welcome folks. Right now we're on Facebook Live via the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce page. Greetings all, my name is Edwin Tiongson. I'm a professor of communication studies from Irvine Valley College, and I'm one of the directors for the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce. Thank you all for showing up to today's online workshop entitled Strategic Messaging and Digital Marketing. We have an array of amazing speakers that are here that will be able to share with you a wide variety of insights of their personal and professional crafts. And here, to kind of also provide a kickoff is my co-chair for the committee, and that's Clement Tagle. So Clement, if you can just give a brief introduction of yourself, and then we'll shift it over to Joseph.
Yes, my name is Clement Tagle, and I'm the co-chair of this event, along with Professor Ed Tiongson. I am a full-time SAT professional working at the College Board or the Educational Assessing Service, and I also have my own private WISANT organization where I've been the #1 WISANT organization in Orange County since January 2019, and I'm also a director of college planning at Surf City College Planning.
Great, great. And Joseph, well, let's all welcome our president of our organization, Mr. Joseph, to give some opening remarks.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is very exciting. I'm Joseph, president of your chamber, and I've always said today you had a choice and you chose us. Thank you for the time. Thank you for being here. I'm very excited to welcome you all to our online workshop, Strategic Messaging and Digital Marketing. This is the first time we're hosting something like this, and considering the situation that we're in, we're hoping all of you are safe from what's going on out there. I think this is the best place to be in right now. And let me share with you something before we get going, is that I love my family. We're all communicating with one another. We all miss one another, but nobody wants to see one another. So we're doing our part and just being our social distancing to each and every one. So with that being said, welcome again to our first online workshop.
All right. So at this point in time, we're gonna have Jay and Joseph talk about a couple components, and I'll hand it off to Jay.
Hold on, let me put this on the screen real quick. Joseph, do you want to talk about the membership?
Right, you know, in light with what's going on right now, and we want to help all business owners. And for this time, you know, as far as our membership is concerned, on the basic membership that we have, we're offering $75 off the $150. So $75 gets you to become a member of FACCOC today. Now, if you're renewing as well and you're on the call, please don't hesitate to give me a call or shoot me an email, as we will offer the $75 renewal fee for you today. The other two levels will remain the same. But in helping all business owners just like you, we want you to come on board, and we're giving $75 off on the basic. The $75 gets you in. Give me a call or send me an email, whether you're a new member or you want to renew your membership.
Great.
Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. So right now, this is our first digital workshop, but it's not only digital. This is also our interactive workshop. So we don't just want you guys to get the information from our speakers. We want you to engage, and we want to make this and give you guys as much value for your time, and we really appreciate you. So for right now, for those of you who are not following on your phones, go ahead and text FACCOC to 90407 on your smartphone. That way you could follow our workshop digitally. And then once you do that, go ahead and click the link. And then it'll take you to this page right here, to our page. And then I want you guys to click digital workshop. So I'm gonna give a couple seconds for you guys to go ahead and do that. When you're doing this, you're gonna be able to follow on your smartphones all the speakers with all our presentation, our slides. You're also gonna be able to connect with the speakers in a digital way. So we really want engagement from you, from our members, and we wanna be able to help you as much as possible, especially in this time. And this is why we're doing this workshop, so we could give you the tools, not only the tools, but also the training and education as far as what you can do to help elevate your business to the next level in this digital world we live in. So go ahead and text again, FACCOC to the number 90407. Then you're gonna get a link. Once you click the link, you're gonna get our app. And then when you click the app, go ahead and click digital workshop. Once you hit the digital workshop, you're gonna get the app that we created for today's workshop. It's gonna feature our speakers, our first speaker being Lindsey Poker from US Bank. When you click on her, you're gonna see her profile. And then she's gonna be talking to you about all the cool digital tools from US Bank. And then you're gonna be able to follow page by page by clicking her presentation button. And then you could also connect with her. For those of, a lot of your businesses, they have so many tools and programs that could really help you. You know, whether it's access to capital or more information on SBA. You know, Joanna, she's really going above and beyond, and that's why I love working with her. And we're so fortunate to have US Bank as one of our main sponsors, sponsoring Filipino American Chamber of Orange County. So, you know, just stuff like that. This is gonna help you connect with our sponsors as well. So definitely utilize this app to connect with all our speakers today. We're gonna make it easier for you to access the information as well. So it's directly, we wanna place it right in the palm of your hands. So I hope you take advantage of this. And I'm gonna go ahead and give this back to Eddie. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jay. So at this point in time, I'm gonna ask Clement to introduce our very first speaker. So go ahead, Clement.
I have her bio.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, whoever's going.
Wonderful. This is a great opportunity to introduce our first speaker today. Lindsey Poker joined US Bank as a contract negotiator in March of 2011. She was promoted to vice president and senior procurement manager in 2013, where she was responsible for the strategic sourcing and vendor management at US Bank. In 2019, she accepted a position as the digital lead strategist for US Bank Orange County market and serves on the board of the Asian Business Association of Orange County and the Voices for Children Community Council in the Inland Empire. Prior to joining US Bank, Lindsey spent 5 years at a law firm in a variety of roles and a short stint in sports journalism reporting on the Minnesota Twins. So everyone on the call, please welcome our first speaker, Lindsey Poker. Lindsey, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Joseph. I really appreciate it. I am so excited to be asked to be a part of this amazing organization and to talk a little bit about what US Bank does and kind of where we're going with our digital technology and information. So I just put a few slides together. The first one is highlighting the importance of what we're doing here today. Digital is central to absolutely everybody's lives, right? We have 3.5 hours a day spent on our iPhones. I don't even want to know what those numbers look like during times of quarantine as we socially distance ourselves from everybody else. I'm sure those numbers have absolutely skyrocketed. And then, you know, we have over 80 apps on our phone every day. And so if we can become central to our customers' lives, and you as small businesses can become central to their lives by figuring out how to digitize your products, your services, your networking events, that's going to be crucial to scaling your business and ensuring your success in the future. And so that's kind of the philosophy that we live by at US Bank, and how we teach and coach our bankers, like my amazing partner, Joanna, on everything that we do at US Bank. So if we go to the next slide, which I think really sets up amazing opportunities for some of our next speakers, like Jay, and talking about what to do on YouTube, you can see exactly what happens in an internet minute, right? You have 1 million people who log into Facebook every minute of the day, and you have 3.8 million Google searches. So if you can maximize what your company is doing to be strategically found within Google or Yelp or any of those types of things, like that's a phenomenal foundation for you and your company to go on forward in the future. And that's the same message that we share with our bankers. At US Bank, we firmly believe in the human and the digital touch. And so Joanna has probably heard me say like 1 million times, let's get digital, because I firmly believe that if you don't have the people, the talent, or the caring nature behind what you're doing digitally, is not as effective. And so that's the message that we continue to share today. And that's certainly what you'd see from US Bank today. We're encouraging everyone to use our new and improved US Bank mobile app. There's approximately 150 different types of features that you can do on the app itself to stay socially distant, to keep you and your family safe and from those banking transactions. But we're still seeing that people need a human touch. They need human connection within that. So they're either calling the branch to ask for help and guidance with the mobile app, or they need to talk to a physical banker and they're still going into the branch. But those visits have more purpose and meaning going forward. And I think it's that great combination of what we're doing digitally, the physical human touch and customer services interaction going forward. So with that being said, when we go to the next slide, I just want everyone to remember that convenience is key for your customer. And sometimes that means a quality conversation where you make their life easier through the services you provide. And sometimes that's about making your company found in an easier fashion. The number one most important factor in customer loyalty is the reduction of customer effort. And that's what US Bank has designed our mobile app about. We don't want you to have to search for the answer. We want you to just open your US Bank app and find what you can. And having that mentality with your customers, I think, will take you really far. As we continue to add services at US Bank to our mobile app, we're able to see a significant increase in the customers that have adopted it because it's easy for them to use. And that's across a lot of different ages and demographics in our customers. And I think that that's reflected in the numbers too. So 77% of people say that valuing their time is the most important thing a company can do to provide them with a good service. So keep that in mind as all of these other phenomenal speakers talk to you about their tips and tricks of the trade. These people are amazing at their crafts, and I value their expertise and experience, and so hopefully you do as well. A couple of things that I wanted to highlight real quick is if you look to the next slide, US Bank social media in Orange County. So I wanted to go with something that's facing our public today and really encouraging you to think about your multiple partners that you come across every day and making sure that you're cross-tagging and cross-functioning and recognizing each other within your social activity. So at US Bank, in December and January, we sponsored a food truck for all of our mobile app activity. We wanted people to think mobile banking, mobile food truck, nice little play on words there. And what we did is we went live with both Twitter and Instagram as well as LinkedIn. And we shared our amazing vendor partners that were all customers of US Bank. And we told their story of growing as customers of our bank, why we were proud to serve their food to the rest of the organization. And then we wrote about that story in a public way and tagged our vendor partners in that. And simultaneously, our vendors also did that. And some of our things for that were, you know, we wanted to have a good social media presence. We want to make sure that we mention those companies in there, come up with a unique hashtag and also reference that with other hashtags. And then finally, think about a relevant image that does that. A lot of people, you know, react well to children, graphic images, things that are recognizable within your communities. I'm sure our experts will talk a little bit more on that. And then I just included a couple of examples of where US Bank has done that in the past. And then the final page here before I switch into some of our small banking discussions is 3 additional tips to success. So the first one is reminder that the physical and the human touch is what makes things different, especially in the time of social distancing and the coronavirus itself. We need to be socially distant from people, but not emotionally distant from people. So the way that you can maximize that with the technology that you're using and getting in front of people as they're looking at their phone over 3.5 hours a day is going to be huge for you and your company's success. And something that I would encourage and advocate for. The second is to stay present and current on social media trends. So internally at US Bank, part of my job is to train people about the technology that's available, just like you are training your customers to know more about your social media and digital presence. And some of the things that we do that we get a lot of success from are things that are currently active on social media. So we have a couple of TikTok videos, right, that show us in our mobile clothes and not in our US Bank uniform and how you can switch in and out of those. We have a Carol Baskin challenge, right? Just spurs people to get interested in what you're doing in a juice and fun way. And then, you know, we've even experimented a little bit with clickbait in terms of open me to find out why Lindsey Poker's jumping for joy today. And that announcement was tied in with the fact that US Bank is now accepting treasury checks through our mobile check deposit. So if you get a stimulus check or you get a tax refund check, you can now deposit those in the US Bank mobile app without having to visit a branch. So that is fantastic news and something that I truly was jumping for joy for. And so we just kind of played that up in a fun way that you commonly see on the internet today. So keeping up with your readers and what they're looking at is one of my biggest tips to success. And then finally, tailor your message to current needs. I would think about things like suddenly my email is full of little pieces of information. It probably doesn't surprise anyone that I am a chronic online shopper. I like to reward myself for everything that I do. So, oh, you sent a hard email, let's order something online. A lot of my inbox is flooded now with work from home comfies or matching sweat sets. And that's because we're tailoring to what the current environment is doing. And that's the same thing you guys need to do today. And that doesn't always mean that we're tailoring to, oh, I'm social distancing myself, or we're here for you in the time of, you know, social quarantine. But sometimes it's about we're buying local, we're giving back to the community. Here's what our plan is and what our communication is about. And so as you tailor more to what the community is reacting to, I think you'll have bigger success. That's kind of like a big topic of kind of my recommendations in terms of social media or other things. I also wanted to briefly touch on some of the technology US Bank is utilizing to help small businesses in the future. So right now, if you go to usbank.com and you look at our business banking website, we do have links that I'll publish here in the chat as well. Their individuals can log on and put in their email address and their contact information. And as the payment guarantee programs from SBA are being developed and launched and go live, you'll receive up-to-date information from US Bank and information on how to apply to ensure that your payroll needs are met or receive a loan from US Bank as part of the government relief package. US Bank has a new technology. It's called Fund My Business, which allows for streamlined applications anywhere online. And it allows for us to utilize kind of third parties verifications as well as communicating with you directly without you ever having to step foot in a branch, even as a US Bank customer or non-US Bank customer. So if that's an interest to you, please do utilize those resources or contact Joanna or myself, and we'd be happy to connect you with a business banker. But really, I think the highlight there, aside from the business opportunity for us, is leverage your technology to do new things where you can. And I think you have a lot of good experts on the phone who can help you utilize those resources. Fund My Business has been with US Bank for a few different months, and we've been able to utilize that to get loans through quickly and efficiently, and we're going to leverage that technology going forward. So that's everything I have. I'll turn it back to you guys. Thank you for including me. I feel absolutely blessed to be here. So best of luck and stay safe and healthy.
Thanks, Lindsey.
Okay, so at this juncture, I believe we're going to go into a Q&A with Ms. Poker. Professor Eddie? All right, so what we'll do right now is we're going to transition into a phase where, if any of the participants here have any questions that they'd like to ask Ms. Poker, regarding her presentation or anything for that matter, if you could make your entry into the chat box and we'll proceed to answer your question. All right, so I'm sure Ms. Poker has a lot of things to say to respond to any questions that you guys may have. If you do have any questions, please enter them in the chat box now.
Okay, I see a question here. Here we go. Okay. I actually have a question from John Kurth. You talk about reacting to trends, Lindsey. What is the proactive nature of your digital branding with US Bank?
So that's a good question. It's hard in a large company to always necessarily be proactive, because what I'm doing is I'm receiving a lot of technology initiatives from higher levels of corporation, and then sharing that with the bankers that live within Orange County. I would say in terms of what proactive things I'm doing in addition to watching social trends is I'm actively observing the way that our customers interact with bankers every day. If I'm not in my office, I'm watching them, and where their trends start to develop, if they come in with higher than average mobile check deposits, or I see more than usual people at the ATM, I will spend a day at that branch trying to understand why, and then proactively either provide training or send feedback to my technology office that we need other developments or abilities within the application, because there's a demographic of people who aren't utilizing current technology needs at US Bank.
Okay, thank you. A second question that I read here, are there any details on the federal grant programs for small businesses?
So the details that we currently have are the same ones that are available to the public. If you look in the group chat, I did include the Apply at US Bank application inquiry form, and that's where you'll find the most up-to-date information as we are actively working with regulators to get clarity on what that program looks like. We're committed to anyone who responds in that inquiry form to reaching out and providing clarity on those rules and kind of the development that they have in.
Great. Okay, Joanna. Joanna said, hello, this is Joanna from US Bank as well. As what Lindsey said in regards to small business paycheck protection programs, if you guys have any questions, please give me a call or email me. That's from Joanna.
Yes, so, she's a phenomenal partner. So we thank her. When we talk about human touch, it couldn't be done without people like her and her branch. Got
it. Okay, so two more questions and then we'll move on. I I have a question here. It says, hi, Lindsey. My business is not active on social networking / media, and we are just starting. Where do you suggest we start?
Oh, wow. So I think it depends upon what your clientele is. And I'm not necessarily familiar with the specifics on it, but if you want to reach out and have a discussion, I'm happy to do that. Think about what that demographic typically uses. So if it's kind of professional services or consulting based, LinkedIn is going to be one of your biggest friends and advocates, right? There's a lot of social minded people and companies that share information on there. If it's tailored more to individuals and maybe a younger demographic, Instagram, or I hear TikTok's a big thing now. I'm still working on that one. You might want to launch more of your company's initiatives that way to share your information and kind of what your story is. And you can never go wrong with Facebook. I don't know exactly what their data analytics are, but they're phenomenal. And even if you talk about something outside of theirs, it's somehow they know. So sharing your information there and having a presence there is always well advised. And then of course, if you're a goods and services industry, right, think about things like Yelp and Google reviews and things like that, because customers who don't know anything, that's one of the first places they're going to look to find a partner and find somebody to provide those services.
Okay, last question. What makes, and this is from Emma, what makes US Bank different from other credit unions or other big banks?
Wow, I could spend the entire hour answering that one, but I will go very short and I will say that I think it's the people, and I think it's that dynamic that we found in the ability between human and digital touch, right? We want the digital experience to be convenient for you, but we want you to know that you have an entire army of people at US Bank there to help support you. And I'm not just saying that flippantly, like truly from the bottom of our heart, like we are there for our customers and we live and breathe that every day. And I've had the privilege of witnessing that to all the bridges that I've visited since we started social quarantine, and watching them truly take the time to deliver those services to their customers and proactively reach out and call to make sure that that individual is doing okay.
All right, excellent. Well, everyone, please round of applause for Lindsey, and let's thank her. You either do it virtually or through the little hand clap thing on the side. All right, so I'm going to hand it on over to Clement. Clement, why don't you introduce our first keynote speaker for today's workshop?
Yes, our first keynote speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is a fellow board director of mine, Jay Ungos. He is the owner of Tag Network, and he's also a digital marketing professional, which he's been in the field of for about 10 years now. His primary product is a digital business card, which is in the field of digital foundation. It's a field in online marketing. He's a multiple term board director with the Filipino Chamber here in Orange County. He's also a board director with the Asian Business Association of Orange County, as well as with Vital Link, and the digital marketing guru of the board. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Ungos.
Hey guys,
applause.
How's everybody doing? Let me get this screen. Okay, welcome to the Tag Network. Okay, so today I'm gonna try to give you guys as much information. I want you guys to think of Tag. The company name is Total Access Gateway. So I want you to think of that, let that resonate in your business, because building a digital foundation, you want your clients to have total access to you, okay? And like Lindsey says, an app's just an app. You got to put that human factor in it. And this is why this is so important. I was going to show a video, but just for the sake of time, we're going to go ahead. Especially with this social distancing now, we want you guys to think of a better way, because now there's not going to be a lot of events for us to get together. So we want you guys to think about a better way. We're going to give you one. We want you to think bigger. The problem, we still utilize paper cards, and you know, I don't know about you guys, but I used to do a lot of networking, but it's going to be pretty tough now. And even when I did have that face-to-face, it's always hard to keep track of all the people. of all their stories, of all their services that they do. And oftentimes I end up losing it. It ends up falling, right? So we want to show you guys a better solution. The one thing you got to understand why we're doing everything is we live in an on-demand economy, right? It's people want, especially now, they want everything instant. They want instant gratification. And I want you guys to think about that, because what we want to specialize, and this is what we've been developing for the past 10 years, you know, you want to leverage technology, right? To help market yourself and your business. It's going to help increase your exposure. You know, Lindsey talked about having relationships of behavior. You really have to hit on establishing that trust, right? And that integrity, because you've been around, you've been doing what you've been doing, and focus on relationships and experience. Now we want to show you how you can engage with your clients by giving them a virtual experience. And then at the end of the day, if you give your clients a proper tool for them to access you, you're going to be able to get the outcome that you want. Whether they could, you know, it could be anything. They could buy from you. They could set up an appointment. You could even do a virtual coffee call, right? So it's all about expanding your reach, leveraging technology. And this is how we're going to do it. I want you to think of this and really consider having a digital business card. You know, a digital business card could also be a virtual card. It could also be a V card. It could also be a mobile website. It could also be, you know, your LinkedIn profile. But to me, I've created an application, and you guys could pretty much format your website to do the same. It doesn't matter what platform you use. I just want you guys to really understand why it's important to go digital. So for right now, I want to give you guys, for those of you who don't have my digital business card, I want you to go ahead, that same number you texted to get my presentation, 90407, go ahead and text digital to that. Once you text that, you will have my business card. And then that way you could follow from my digital business card how this works. So I want you to think about a digital business card. This is my phone. I don't know if you guys could see that. But I want you to streamline the way your paper cards used to do. And that's how we're going to help you transition to go digital. Why did I use text? Well, I'm a big metrics and data guy. The average response time for a text is 90 seconds. Like Lindsey said, we check our phones over 150 times a day on an average, but now it's way above that. I really like using text because it's very direct and it's instant, because remember my first slide, instant gratification. You want people to respond right away. The first thing that you guys will see on my digital business card is my video. It's a quick 30, 45 second explaining exactly why you need this service or product. And this is what we like to call your virtual handshake, because it's personal. It has my branding on it. It has my avatar. So I could meet literally people across the country, send them my digital business card and give them a virtual handshake. Now here's why video is so important. And Jenelle is going to be talking about that a little bit later in a granular level. 80% of the world's internet traffic by 2021 is going to be video. They really think about that, because the 20% content that's on the web right now, that's on the internet, is very static information. And this is why this is so important and so crucial for you, especially in the time that we're in right now, to really think about creating more relevant video for your marketing, because that's going to really help you in the long run. Because when people search services in your local area, you want to have a video for that. The next button that I have, and the one that's blinking, is my call to action. This is the main button that I want people to fill out, or when they want to connect with me, right? It's all about engagement. Once they see my video, then I want them to connect. So whether that's a one-on-one appointment, whether that's trying to find out more information about my events, about my programs, about my services, they'll be able to fill out their information. Once they fill this out, I'll get a text, I'll get an email. Right away, I'll know if somebody filled it out because I know that they took the time to go through the services. Now, here's the difference between a digital business card and a website. The way it's formatted, I did this in about 2 steps. They see my video, and then I want them to click the Let's Connect button. If you send somebody on your website, they actually have to figure out where everything is. We don't have time for that, especially with the millennials now. Their attention span is about 5 to 8 seconds. And this is why having the right formatting of your business in a digital form is essential, because now you want to simplify the process and get them the information they want right away. So this could be fully customized. It also has my about me, about my services. So if you scroll through everything, I have a video for every product and services I offer. Do you know why I do that? One, it helps me on my search. It helps my company. When people look up digital business card, when people look up avatar, when people look up in Orange County, all my videos will pop up. And guess where that all leads to? It all leads back to my digital business card. And once they've seen that, then they're gonna click the Let's Connect button, and I know exactly where they came from. Because otherwise, the old way of doing things, they would call me with my regular business card, and then I would have to take 5 to 10 minutes to explain to them what I do. I can't do that. I don't have the luxury and time to do that now, because if you really, really want to scale your business, you got to really have to think about and learn how you could utilize technology to leverage your business. All my contact information is there. Lindsey talked about having your social media presence. If you click on my contact me, I'm 1 click away from my website, 1 click away from my email, my phone, my LinkedIn profile, my Facebook. This is what I'm talking about as far as having a digital foundation. You need to have everything in the palm of your client's hands to where everything is accessible. Having a digital foundation means you need to set up your brand in a way where you would be found on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Vimeo, Instagram, depending on your audience. You also need a website. You need videos. You need a lot of content, a lot of value. And there's also a way for people to pay me, because I don't have the luxury of going and tracking people down anymore. You know, I don't have a collection team, not yet. But at least I figured out a way, hey, I could set them up, automated emails with a link that goes directly to my virtual payments. And they could pay me directly, and it's right on my app, and they don't have to look. Now, if you want to have more information on that, there's a lot of people in our organization that could help you, particularly our president, Joseph. So he could help you with virtual payments. Shout out to you, brother. More importantly, what I want to leave with you guys, this is why having a digital business card is so important, okay? It's not only a tool, but if you really think about what you're doing, you're creating a virtual you. A virtual you will be able to not only streamline your business, but you will also be able to replicate your business. Because now we gotta work smarter, right? Not harder. And this is how you could create a digital referral system, okay? Through this app. My app has a refer me button. I have referral partners that I do business with that markets for me, and I also market their services. So when people want the service, all they have to do is share my digital business card. Now here's why that video is important, because when my referral partner is sharing my digital business card, my video, my app is doing all the talking without me having to be there. And it's all about replication process. And you know why they're gonna listen? Because I know for a fact that the referral partners that I have, they've been in business 10, 15, 20 years, and they're highly respected. It's about having that trust. Remember the trust that we talked about really keying on behavior? Because for me, it's about going after the low-hanging fruit. Because for me, the best form of marketing is still word of mouth. And what we're showing you today in the digital age, this is a digital word of mouth advertising, leveraging the relationships that you guys have from the past 10, 15, 20, 25 years. You know who the people are, the clients that you've served that would go that extra mile to be able to share your business, because this is what it's all about. And all we're doing is helping you utilize technology to streamline that process, because referrals do make a difference. I would rather have a referral than somebody just look for me, you know, online and Google search me, because I would still have to go through the process. For me, referrals are much more important because they've already been pre-qualified by my client or my referral partner or my partners. So they do make a difference. So I want you guys to really think about that. Work more efficiently. That will help you work more productively. And at the end of the day, you'll have more time to spend with your family. And that's where it counts. Mobile sharing, right? And this is how it's so easy. On the bottom of my app, there's a share button. On all the smartphones that you have, there's a share button. So when they're sharing your information, whether it's your website, your LinkedIn profile, utilize technology, because you're one click away. All I'm saying, when you're building your digital foundation, whether you use a virtual card, a digital business card, your mobile website, format it in a way where it's so simple that your message gets across in about 30 seconds or less. That way you have that one button that they need to click so they can engage with you. And we could show you through education, through the right tools, the right partners, how to create not only your digital foundation, because that's where it starts, but also being able to create the right referral network within your community. And once you have that, then you could create and leverage your social media by launching it there. So just imagine being able to create that, and you're more connected than you've ever been. So this goes beyond a digital business card. It's about building your digital foundation. Okay, so now I want to connect with you guys. If you guys have any other questions outside of this Q&A, I want you to click my Let's Connect button, and I would love to do a Zoom conference with you, connect you with the people. So maybe, you know, I could share some partners that would, you know, really be a fit for your business. Really start thinking about that, because we all need to help each other now, especially in this time. And I think the community that we built in the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, this is what we do. We're here for you, and we're committed. So I would definitely love to connect, text digital to that, and I would love to hear from you. And that's all I got.
All right.
Thank you very much, Jay.
Thanks, Jay. All right, let's see. Okay. There's an agreement with you about word of mouth. And great presentation, Jay. Getting several comments on that. Anyone else have a question for Jay that you can post on the chat line? Oh, Kenrick says this is the best I've seen. Anybody else? Oh, wow. All 7 of my sales team has it. Comment made by Kenrick. Anybody else?
Also, Jay, if you could just please remind everyone what number they need to text digital to be subscribed to your email list, or to your text list. I'm sorry about that.
$90407.
Great. Thank you very much, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a question here, Jay. Can you describe the process of how long that it takes to get set up? So, yeah.
So, you know, you got to have the basics, right? The essentials. You know, what I've talked about, you got to figure out first the platform. You got to figure out the platform, the branding for your company. right? There's a lot of branding experts here. You know, it starts with the website. That's like the basic. Then there's also, you got to have a video. Make sure you're set up on all the essential social network sites. For me, I like to use Facebook because now it's transitioned to basically the baby boomers going into there. And most of the baby boomers have, you know, what I need as far as the services, right? And then but if you're catering to more of the millennials, maybe Instagram or TikTok is something to market, to be able to market over there. But you got to have a plan. And, you know, we're going to continue to have workshops in the future. And we could definitely give you a checklist, but for the essentials, you got to have at least, you know, a website, logo, video, social media presence, and then be able to put everything into one. But then once you do that, then you're going to have to streamline your messaging as far as exactly how you want to replicate yourself when you're giving this platform to somebody, whether it's a digital business card, a virtual card, a V card, a mobile website that you have. You got to have the formatting to make sure your message gets across right away.
All right. Thank you, Jay. Oh, there's several others. I can't read that. What does that say? My eyes are getting small. Geraldine has a question. How much should we budget for this?
That really depends. And I'm not like promoting my business here. You know, whether you use mine, there's thousands. I just want to get that out there. Okay, guys, there's thousands of platforms that you could utilize for every budget. Okay. For some, you could even just, you know, format your website to do this. But you got to do, and for the next 2 weeks, you know, it just looks like they're going to be extending the shelter. Go back and re-educate yourself online and really think about the message of your business. You know, the next couple speakers are really going to help you, you know, get your messaging across. I mean, it's just start really engaging in that. And then the more time that you put in, the less, I guarantee, the less you're going to spend, because it's not about just having the tool. It's also transitioning yourself and really understanding how digital can help you. But there's some free services out there. There's some monthly subscriptions out there. And depending on how much time you have to invest, you could pay consultants to help you with this. But there's so much. I mean, you know, it could be in the hundreds to the thousands to free. So you just have to do some research. But definitely connect with me and I could give you some options.
All right, hold on. Someone asked, how long does it take to set up? That was a question.
You know, again, it really depends. If you have the essentials, and most everybody here does have it. I mean, you have all the, you know, your headshot, right? Your logos, the content, your bios, your resumes, your videos, your social media. If you have most of that, it shouldn't take you that long. You just gotta do some research out there, and depending on which platform, it could take 1 day, 48 hours. But for some, there could be some creative that's involved. You may have to, you know, create some videos. You may have to, you know, create a website, create a social media. So it just depends. But if you have most of the essentials, it shouldn't take that long to build.
Okay. Someone apologized because they had to step away, but they came back with a question. And the question is, how can a client go back to your V card after they close the site? Okay.
And this will be my last question, just out of respect for the rest of the speakers. That's a great question. On my specific digital business card application, there is a save button on the bottom. When you click that save button, it will drop my information into the V card on your contacts. You could also save my app on your home screen, just like an app, without it taking any memory. You just have to add my link to my home screen. and I'll be there. I have all my referral partners on my home screen. And you're like, well, why would you want to have that? Isn't that kind of, and I go, if those people make me money, trust me, you will have them too. So it's all about having the right partners. And that's where you want to be. You want to stay relevant to your community, your clients, to your partners. That way you want to be that go-to guy. And you know, that could be another workshop that we could do in the end, but we're going to keep doing these to help give you guys more education and tools. So I'm super excited. Thanks again for all your questions. I can't wait for our next couple speakers because there's some stuff that they're going to be teaching all of us, and I'm excited. So thank you again for everything and for having me.
Professor Ed, I still have Jay for until 5 p.m. Pacific time to answer questions.
I think we're going to be moving on at this point in time. Okay. So, and again, you could always reach out to Jay. You've had his contact information. You've seen it where it is available. So again, if you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to him directly. Okay, so at this point in time, we are going to be moving on to our next speaker and our second speaker. And I just had your bio, there it went. Okay, we are pleased to bring forth Jenelle Castro, who is a marketing strategist with a focus on video production and search optimization. She started her marketing career as a social media manager for Mobility Wear, a mobile apps company, and she evolved into a product marketing manager for a multi-million-dollar game portfolio, specializing in the app store optimization and A/B testing. Now, she operates Buko Marketing, helping businesses establish a marketing strategy and video content to create consistent growth across their social media channels. She's also a host and content producer for Jenelle Eats, which is a YouTube brand that showcases Filipino food and travel. So if you're dying for Filipino food and you want to re-examine what it looks like, check out that YouTube page. She's also has the title of marketing strategist, a video producer for Buko Marketing, the YouTube host and content producer for Jenelle Eats, and of course, a Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County ambassador. So she'll be covering some key topics, and I'll let her explain what she'll be doing. And so at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and spotlight Ms. Jenelle Castro. Applause, applause, applause.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Edwin. That was such a wonderful introduction. So hello, everybody. Thank you again for coming and joining us today. So what I wanted to focus on today, because the world of marketing is so large, and I generally like to help my current clients with their social media visibility. But for the sake of time, I decided to focus this presentation on how to get found on YouTube. So let me just share my screen and let me know. Can you guys see the glaring yellow PDF? Yes, okay, perfect. All right, so like I said, for the sake of time, I'm gonna show you how to get found on YouTube, but think of this as, I'm just trying to focus in on YouTube because we can talk about all the other channels. The principles apply to the social media, to any social media platform, right? So each social platform has its own way to be searched on. So whatever I talk about here, you can apply that on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. So just keep that in mind, okay? Okay, and so Edwin did a great job of introducing me. You don't need to know about that. So there it is. And I did manage App Store optimization and A/B testing. And the reason why I wanted to highlight App Store optimization is because this is a piece that I am using a lot of now to help my own projects, so my YouTube channel, and then my clients to be found on social media. So App Store optimization is another way of saying SEO for apps. And really what you're doing here is you are doing like keyword, part of it is keywords, right? So keywords are very important for you to be searched online. And this is like what I want to focus on in this particular topic. So let me skip to video creation breakdown. And so if you guys were in the February Power Networking Lunch, these slides might seem a little bit familiar, but the difference between that presentation and this presentation is I'm going to go more in depth about the type of content that you should be putting out on YouTube so that you are sticking true to your brand, you are sticking to a particular niche, and that you are going to be highly searchable, okay? So step number 1 is research. So I talked about this in Power Networking Lunch, but this is super important. The quote here says, if I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. And that applies to content creation, to whatever you decide to post up there on social media. And so a lot of us now obviously are at home, and one of the strongest way to promote your businesses now is social media. Like everybody's turning social media. We're on a Zoom call, right? We're having a meeting on a Zoom call, and now you're kind of relying on the online space to be able to get your voice heard. And really the most important piece is you've got to do your research. So in this section, you have to define your target market. So if you have a business, you probably already have an idea of who your target market is. Historical data. So I'm talking about historical data based on what you've already posted on your social channels. So it helps a lot if you've already been putting some content out there, but if you haven't, that's fine. It's just nice to have to refer to previous posts that you've shared. And then you do like a topic brainstorm. So whatever your niche is, right? In this particular presentation, I'm going to talk about my Filipino food channel, just because that's what I work on a lot. But take any industry you're in. If you're in the finance industry, if you're in the programming industry, whatever it is, make sure you do a topic brainstorm of all the possible topics that somebody else might be looking for, right? That you can help them on. And then competitive analysis, because you're not unique out there. There's going to be other people who are probably dishing out similar content to yours. And so it helps to look and see where success is leaving clues. Someone just said that earlier, but success leaves, oh no, it was another webinar I was in, but success leaves clues, right? So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. And then keyword research. So this is the part that I find really important. This is the one thing you can manipulate yourself. And so you can do that through Google search, target platform search. Target platform search I mean by that is like whichever social platform you're on. So Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever, and online tools. There's a plethora of online tools that you could be using to help you with keyword search and to see like what the trends are and what people are searching, okay? So this next one is an analogy that I like to use with my clients. And so I don't know why, but the tree analogy came up. And so if you are thinking of content to put out there, I like to think of it as a tree, right? And so what is like your mission? Like as a brand, as a business, what is your mission? What are you trying to help people with? And so that's kind of like your trunk, right? And then you have your topics, and that's going to be your branches. And so I'm going to use my channel as an example. And so my mission is to make Filipino food and culture more accessible to people online, right? And so what are all the topics? So what are all the branches that could possibly come from that one mission? There's so many, right? It's not just about cooking things. It can also be about, you can travel to a restaurant, you can show off Filipino food there, or you can be interviewing a chef. Like there's all these other options. You don't have to put yourself in a box, but make sure that you stick to your trunk, your topic, which is your mission. And then you have the specific pieces of content. So let's say a topic would be cooking, right? But the specific content that you have is one particular recipe. And so, like I said, guys, like this, I'm just using my channel as an example, but think of whatever industry you're in and use this analogy to think up of topics that you could be putting out there on YouTube. Okay, and so I already gave this example. So the mission for my channel is to bridge cultural gaps, showing Filipino food. And then these are all the different topics that I could go through. And these are the specific content pieces that I could possibly cover. Should have gone through that one before I guess just started talking. So, okay, next one is competitive analysis, right? And so like I mentioned earlier, these people are models of successes. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Look for other people who are in the similar industry as you. And you can gather a lot of information from there. You can emulate their video and script format. They can spark content ideas that you never would have thought about, right? And then you can also replicate the keywords that they're using. And you can find the keywords that they're using by using like, they have tools that let you spy on their keywords, but more importantly, you can look at the title that they're using, right? There's keywords in there that you can use and use it for your own content. Because whatever they put in their title, that means it's being searched because people are looking at it. And so you'd want to replicate something along those lines, right? And so now I want to dive into keyword research. And so this little thing right here, I'm saying like you start with where your expertise is, right? It's in your brain. And just think of all the different keywords that you would think up as a person. So I'm going to use kamayan is, it means to eat with your hands, and it's a specific type of Filipino, it's like where the leaves are all laid out and there's like food on the table. So anyway, I wanted to make a video about eating in kamayan style, right? And so I think off the top of my head, okay, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of the viewer. What would I look up, right? And so I look up, okay, maybe I'd look up kamayan, I'd look up boodle fight, and then I'll just enter those into either YouTube or Google, and then I would see what the autofill would say. And then I would just grab those and then use those for my title and for my keyword tags, right? So that's what I mean by search engine suggestions. And you can also do a little competitive research. So you'll see when you enter like kamayan or whatever keyword you decide to use, you'll see other people who are ranking for that. And so you can start grabbing keyword ideas from here. Like these guys use, okay, Filipino and then kamayan feast, or learn and then how to. I'm like, okay, I might want to use that. Traditional, that might be useful. So these are just ideas, and you'd want to tinker around with it. The more content you push out, the more, the better you'll be at like picking your keywords to show which ones actually will help you rank. And so here's another thing that I can see some creators do this. You don't, especially if you're starting off, like unless you have like millions and millions of subscribers, the way you want to title your videos, do not waste your character count on vanity keywords. So first thing, when you title your YouTube video, you have, I think, 100 characters, okay? So you don't want to waste those characters on vanity keywords that will not help you rank at all. So for example, in that particular video, I could have said vlog number 28, my high school friends and I have a homemade boodle fight or something, or I don't know, something silly like Jenelle's World, episode 5, getting our hands dirty. Like, great. Who's actually going to look that stuff up, right? Nobody. Maybe if I had like 5 million viewers, yes, because people already know me and it's just different that way. But if you're actually trying to rank, you would want to prioritize right here on this side, specific long tail keywords. And what I mean by long tail keywords is the individual words themselves are keywords. So if you look up kamayan, or if you look up Filipino, or if you look up cooking, those are specific keywords, right? Just single keywords. Long tail keywords are what an actual human being would search up online. So how to prepare a boodle fight at home, a kamayan feast, or a boodle fight recipe, or how to make rice, like things like that. So those are long tail keywords, and you have a higher chance for ranking for a specific long tail keyword than if you decided to nitpick on smaller keywords, because there's a lot of competition out there. So it's kind of like going back to that idea of niching down. Okay, what is next? Oh, okay, so here I'm just going to show you an example of some of the videos that I did rank, and then just show you how I decided to title it, right? So how to prepare a boodle fight at home, how to eat with your hands. This one is about Hawaiian food. This one's a spam with subi recipe. And those guys rank really well because I could have chosen to do a vanity keyword, like something more fun, right? I mean, sometimes we want to get creative with our titles, but I like to think of it in a very practical sense. Like, what's my goal here? I really want these videos to get searched. I'm going to do my keyword research. Like, I will put down the keywords that people would actually look up, right? It's not the prettiest, but it explains what the video is about, and it'll help you rank because those are the words that people are looking for. Okay, and then step number 2. Oh, did somebody say something? Oh, sorry. Ignore that. Okay, so step number 2 is the script. So after all that research, right, that whole piece might take you a lot of time in the beginning, but after you've you know exactly what types of topics you'll be covering, you'll probably start to get used to the kind of keywords that people are looking up. And then you'll get faster as you go and you continue churning out content. The next thing is a script. So when you do create a video, every second counts, and you want to make sure that in your script, you're talking to a specific target audience. And if you have focused messaging, you're going to have a higher conversion, right? And so what does that mean? So you have to know exactly who you're talking about. So let's say you are in the finances industry. You have to know exactly who are you targeting. Are you targeting people in a specific age range, a specific profession, a specific point in their life, right? The more specific you are, the more focused you are, the higher chance there is that the viewer that you're trying to target is going to relate to that and is more likely to do what you want them to do. So conversion could be anything like you tell them to go to your website or you ask them to buy something, right? And so when you're creating your video script, you can have all those nice keywords, but you got to make sure that your content inside that script actually resonates with whoever's finding it, right? That's why this piece is also super important. And then you have to know what your goal is. So what is the point of this video? Like, I don't just push out videos for no reason. I always have to have a goal. So just figure out, like, what do you want them, what kind of action do you want them to do at the end of the video, right? And then create your content from there. I kind of go reverse. Like, okay, well, I want them to, let's say, pay for a class on teaching them how to cook bread or bake bread or something. So then I'm going to be structuring my whole script format to lead up to that goal at the end of the video. And then the structure is basically like things that you would want, like it's kind of a good rule of thumb to include in your video, which is you got to have a hook so that they actually stay and watch the rest of your video, a call to action, which is for you, like it might be obvious that you want them to buy like that bread baking class or whatever it is. But to them, it is not that obvious. So you want to tell them specifically, hey, you, go in the comments below and click, or go in the description below and click on my link to download this PDF or whatever it is you want them to do. You have to call it out. You have to be Captain Obvious here, or else no one's gonna take the action that you want them to. And then relatable content. So just make sure that your video is, it's relatable, like it's something worth watching, right? Because like, when was the last time you wasted time on something that was boring, that didn't really relate to you, right? There's so many other content, there's so much other content out there that anyone could be watching. So you want to make sure yours is worth watching. Otherwise, people are just going to skip. And then film and edit. So this is the piece where, you know, good lights and good sound, it's great to have, right? But the thing is, like, the content itself is king. Like, whatever the content is that you have in your video, that's what matters a lot more. There are people who have like really low quality type of videos. The lighting isn't the best, the sound isn't the best, but they are ranking. They have so many views because they solve a particular problem that the user is looking up. And so right here, what I mean by relatability is better than just it being a pretty video. If you have relatable content or content that actually helps people, that is worth a lot more than if your video is just, it's pretty, right? It doesn't serve a purpose. So anyway, that's like, I just kind of ran through like a bunch of stuff, but if you have any questions, you can ask me in the chat, but here's also my business phone number. And if you need my services, or if you have any questions, you can also email me. And this is my Instagram for the food channel. So if you're just interested in looking at that, go ahead. But this is how you can contact me. So does anyone have any questions? Let me turn this off.
There's a question here for you, Jenelle. How long did it take you to get 180,000 views on your video?
So that one video, so here's the story. I was very on and off. If anything, like being a content creator has really taught me discipline and not giving up. So I was on and off for a little bit until I decided to take this a little bit more seriously. And that video did not actually get all those views until I think I was on and off for like 2 years. And then for, I think maybe like like 6 months when I did churn out consistent content, did I hit the jackpot. Like that's like the whole YouTube game. Like it takes that one video to help you so I have been churning out Filipino food content before then, right? And so I was already telling YouTube, hey, like my channel is all about Filipino food. And they're starting to detect that. Once I actually churned out that Kamayan, let's say that Kamayan feast video, first of all, I targeted it because at that time, like a lot of people were all of a sudden talking about Kamayan feast. So I was like, I'm gonna make a video and backing that up with the keyword tools and the research and already that, all that other content that I was creating that was focused around Filipino food. It was like on steroids, I guess. It was like, okay, great. Like since YouTube algorithm is saying, since she's already been making YouTube or Filipino food content for a while, and her keywords are all about this Kamayan feast thing, and all these people are looking it up, let's push her up. And so a lot more people started seeing this video. And so it was kind of like it's kind of like a game, right? Like it's like, which comes first? So you have to be like more disciplined about actually building that base of content so that when the trend comes or when a specific term that people are all looking up finally comes, like you're there, you're in the front lines and you're ready. So for me, it took like 6 months after taking it seriously, but for other people, like I've heard it's like their third video and they rank. So it really depends. Got it.
Thank you, Jenelle. I have another question and okay. Okay, so here I'm getting a question. After the competitive research, how do you make sure you stay distinct and not become another, hey, me too online presence?
Got it. So if there's anything that being a content creator has taught me, it's that it's interesting because you're not unique, right? As in you're not the only person out there that is ever going to have this idea. There's at least one other person in the world that has this idea. But the one thing that you are unique in is your personality, weirdly enough. And that's why they call them YouTube personalities. And just think about, okay, so there's the influencer, right? There's people who are like, clearly you think of them as an influencer, but think about like another, I don't know, big figure that maybe is like very business minded, like, I don't know, State Farm or something like that, or US Bank even, right? Like if you think about it, like they've created this influence and this presence for themselves because they've decided to like niche down like in their particular industry. And so number one, like your personality will set you aside, right? Just the way that you put out content will like automatically, I guess, like niche you. Like the way that I would create content versus like any of those other creators, just because it's the way that I see the world. This is starting to sound a little like woo, right? But like just the way I see the world will automatically make the way I present my videos differently than the next person. So the best thing that you can do about setting yourself apart is just share with somebody, whatever content you're putting out, share with them how you would authentically share it with somebody else, let's say a friend or a family member, if that helps.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think like that was the one thing where I'm like, how can I set myself apart? Like, and that's a tricky thing with competitive analysis. You want to be somebody else, but at the same time, like just cherry pick the ideas and the really cool things that they do, but you have to add your own personality, your own flavor to it. And that is, ask any influencer, that is what helps them stand apart. Like your people will gravitate towards you.
Great. So I have another question from Christy. How many subscribers do you have now? And do you ever get tips from PewDiePie?
No.
Or other YouTubers, or do you just research on web browsers?
Good question. No, I don't watch PewDiePie. He's someone like my brothers would watch, but there are other influencers in, let's say, the marketing space that I watch on YouTube, and that is very, subscriber count. I'm at almost 6,000 now, which is awesome. And the other thing with subscriber count is like there's people who can have like a large amount of subscribers, but what matters the most is how engaged they are. So if you have 100,000 subscribers and you have a very engaged subscriber base, that is awesome. Like that's what you'd want. Luckily, like my subscriber base, even though it's like only 6,000, they are the types of people that will actually give me their emails or actually buy a class, right? And so to me, that is the most important part. You just got to focus on that. Okay. And so when it comes to researching, I think it's important to do both. For me personally, I love watching videos. I already have a few people that I always turn to that I'm subscribed to, and they are like always on top of the social media game, and they are giving me updates on what's happening. But I have multiple people that I watch, and I have like alerts that pop up, and I get to read these articles and stuff. And you know, like you'll know it's a passion of yours when you actually start like ingesting or like consuming these types of research or this type of knowledge on your own, right? It doesn't become homework.
All right. All right. Any other questions? I think we might be.
I see Ron's. Jenelle, how long do you estimate it take for a company to see local results, especially if they never open a YouTube channel? I can't estimate. I know like there's like you should always like at least give a ballpark, but it really depends on how well you do your keyword research, how often you churn out content, and how consistent you are. So obviously, the more content that you churn out, so let's say you're a local company, the more content that you decide to churn out in a short amount of time, but also be consistent with that, that can help you a lot more, like for the algorithm to recognize that, oh, this is a serious creator, because they get a lot of junk creators all the time, right? And so when you're being consistent and you're actually pushing out this content, then they're starting to see that you're serious, and you'll have a faster and higher chance of actually ranking. But like I said, like you have to do your research. So what is your niche? What kind of content can you push out? And make sure that you're not burning yourself out too. Like when I have clients, the number one thing I focus on is that they do not burn out, because once you burn out, like you do like you're on it and then you're off it. Like that's what happened to my channel. And I'm like, okay, well, I would have had a lot more subscribers now if I just stuck through all the way. But you know, like it's life. That's what happens.
And you see the next question, right?
Yes. When is the best time to spend on ads? Great. Okay. So for me, like personally, I don't like to spend on ads unless there's, I don't know if I'm selling something maybe, because ads, like the reason why you are a content creator. So I remember Jay was talking about referrals, right? When you're churning out content for people, that is also a way for people to get acquainted with you. So they kind of become warm leads. Like that's why they have a higher chance of actually purchasing from you. Okay. Now for an ad, that's kind of, I see an ad as like, I need to get people to see this now, so I'm going to pay for it. And so if there's something that you want to be in front of people's faces right away, you can go ahead and do that. I've seen people who also just push out ads for a random piece of content that they have, just so more people can actually see their content, and that's completely fine. I just prefer to set my money aside and spend money on, let's say, like I said, like a bread making class or something like that. Like if I want a certain amount of people to sign up in a short amount of time, I'll do ads. But the whole reason why I talked about keywords and content creation in this presentation is you're kind of creating organic traffic for yourself. But of course that takes time. It takes consistency. Ads, you don't necessarily have to do that. But it does help when, let's say, someone clicks on an ad and clicks on your profile and sees that you have all this content. So you don't look like just a sketchy brand that's just like sending out ads to scam somebody. So I've seen that too, but I've also seen success for people who just want to pay for ads for people to buy something just within like a short period of time. And then Marian asked, where's a good place? How am I on time?
You got a few minutes.
Okay.
You can answer those two questions.
Okay. So where's a good place to look for keywords? And so after you search your brain, right, for like all these ideas, I just go on Google and I go on YouTube and I see what autofill does. But what I use specifically is you can use, there's two tools. It's called vidIQ. If you're talking about YouTube specifically, vidIQ and TubeBuddy. So I'm just going to vidIQ and TubeBuddy. So those are specifically for YouTube and TubeBuddy. I feel like you can't go wrong with either of those. Like those are just the two pretty standard ones that everyone's using as a YouTuber, but you can survive without it. And the thing is, like, these services are also pretty affordable. So it's like, you might as well pay for it. But if you're, let's say, talking about keywords, like on Instagram, right? Like you get searched differently on Instagram. On Instagram, it's hashtags. So I would use a different, I'd use a different type of tool for Instagram. Oh, thanks, Marian. Was there any other question that I missed? I think so. No, that's it.
You got the healthy rhythm of publishing?
Wait, no, which one is that?
What is a healthy rhythm of publishing?
Ooh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's really just, you just have to be consistent. But what I've seen is pretty standard amongst a lot of content creators is at least, YouTube creators is at least once a week. If you can do it twice a week would be even better. Some people do every day and I'm just like, what is happening here? And eventually they release a video later where they're like, I'm stopping the daily video thing. But then, by that time they've amassed all these followers, but they talk about how hard it is. Like you're legit editing a video every single day. And that leads to burnout. And like I said, with my clients, I would much rather you be consistent and pushing out one video every 2 weeks and then like start adding on as you get used to it and you get faster than like releasing 5 videos and then all of a sudden you drop off the face of the earth.
Great. All right. Well, round of applause, gang, for Jenelle. She did a fantastic job. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jenelle.
At this point in time, we're going to shift over to Clement to introduce our third speaker.
Yes, our third speaker is a former chamber president for the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County. His name is Edwin Baloloy. He's a realtor with TNG Real Estate Consultants, as well as the owner of ActiveWerkX, which is an organization devoted to customizing lead funnels with existing tools that you already have in place at your own organization. He's also the founder of Philam Leadership Foundation and a board member for the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County Green event. Ladies and gentlemen, Edwin Baloloy.
Thank you, Clement. Thanks for everybody for joining us. I see we still have 42 participants on here, so thanks for sticking around. Great speaker so far. I'll do my best to build off of what Jenelle and what Jay had talked about, because at the end of the day, especially with the social distancing going on, we're trying to talk about conversion in today's business. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things about how you could leverage the things that you're already doing. So let me share my screen here. And actually, sorry, it took a second because my screen actually looked different for a little bit. Like Clement said, I'm the owner of ActiveWerkX. ActiveWerkX is a social media company. It's not just a social media company that just does ads for you. It definitely plugs in all the things that you've been doing. Just a little background about myself, just to kind of give myself some credibility in the material that I'm talking about. I joined the real estate ranks in about 2007. And if you can imagine, that was a time when everybody was leaving the real estate business because all the foreclosures going on. And during that time, I remember there was someone who was really famous from the Tom Ferry organization that he managed to sell 20-something homes, something like 24, 28 homes out of his dorm room in Cal State Fullerton. I was like, I want to meet this guy. And not only do I want to meet this guy, I want to be this guy. So I ended up meeting him. And it turns out that I ended up probably copying the guy you don't want to model your business after, because all of you guys are hopefully rock stars in your field, or you at least know someone who's a rock star in your field. But let's face it, a lot of us are in transaction-oriented businesses. I'm in real estate. You have someone like Neil Estrada who's on here. He's in insurance. And then you have someone like Joseph. who's in merchant services. Our transactions rely on us being able to close the deal. And if you were to look at anybody who is at the top of their game in your profession, like I remember when I was new in the business, I would go to the offices of the top 10 agents in my office, and often a lot of them don't even know how to turn on their computer. So I was wondering what's going on over here. You know, maybe I have to be more like them, but I'll get more to that in a second, because there's a definite warning that's going on here. Because I used to go to these seminars, and then I would come out confused, to be quite honest. So I would sit through these 5-day seminars, and then I would come out and I wouldn't know what kind of action I would want to take. So I'm going to go over 3 brief things. And the first one's 3 tips for increasing your organic reach. And when I'm talking about organic reach, I'm talking specifically about Facebook. And I'm going to go fast. So don't worry about so much keeping up, because I'm going to put this on YouTube, and it's also on Facebook Live right now on the Chamber page. So you guys could hit pause and try some of the things that myself, Jenelle, or Jay are talking about. You can rewind. We're just going to go fast for the sake of time. Secondly, I'm going to talk about Facebook ads to leverage your current referral status, referral sources, I'm sorry. Because let's face it, when you're talking about building up an organic audience and trying to build up organic credibility with your own Facebook account, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever, you're talking about your time versus simply spending that money for ads. So we're going to talk about when you could make that call and when's it a good judgment to do just ads, and who's going to do more of the organic stuff. And then lastly, what are we going to do with all these leads that we get? Because you might have done something that Jenelle was talking about earlier, or you might have the app that Jay's talking about. Let's face it, not all of us, even if we're rock stars in our profession, are going to bat 100. We're not going to be 10 for 10 when 10 leads come in. I don't care if they're friends, family, or whoever. There's going to be some people you just don't convert, and what are you going to do with those? So before starting, there's a few important questions because this is the warning, and I have to admit, out of the people who pursue digital marketing, I have to admit about 9 out of 10 people probably don't spend their money wisely. Probably 9 out of 10 people don't get profit or an ROI out of digital marketing. And when I'm talking about spending, I'm also talking about their time. So the first thing to ask yourself is, what's working for you? And when I first joined real estate, Tom Ferry, the real estate coach, really gave us the golden rule, which is stick to 2/3 what's called tried and true in your profession. So for real estate, well, we do door knocking still, believe it or not. Calling works, open houses work. So those things are tried and true. Mailings even still work. Just sold, just listed. We'll actually get some calls off of that. So stick to your comfort zone, what's working for you. And then the other 1/3, that's where you're going to push the envelope. So don't push the envelope the other way around, because you end up sabotaging what you're already doing. We definitely want you to keep yourself in your rock star status. We just want you to get to the next level with digital marketing. And then the other question is, how many top producers in your industry is receiving most of their business from online sources? So again, that's the whole modeling effect. You don't want to go chase the guy who was making, who sold 25 homes out of his dorm room. Okay, that was a bad model for me. I ended up chasing that, and I could talk on and on about it. I was better off just holding open house every weekend and then doing some digital marketing on the side. So ask yourself that. I know there's a lot of companies, even network marketing companies, that do a fabulous job of coaching how their clients are to conduct themselves online. I know Kathy Jimenez is on the call right now, and if you see even her Instagram channel, and any of your friends who are doing Rodan and Fields, they actually show them how they do Facebook Live, and I take it they're coaching them because it looks pretty similar. I happen to be a customer myself, but then you definitely want to model yourself after those who are succeeding at it rather than reinventing the wheel. So here's the free organic tips that come from Facebook. And actually, let me minimize my screen a little bit and attempt to, I'm going a little risky here. And hopefully you're seeing my screen. Actually, that's something that I'm going to come back to later. Ever ask yourself on Facebook, how come is it that I could go out there and I have, like Clement has 5,000 friends, right, Clement? He has 5,000 friends. And then
yes, that's right.
I happen to know, don't write that. I happen to know a friend that has 5,000. And then when you go through his timeline, he's getting very little engagement. I remember looking at a couple of posts that had 1 like, maybe 2, 3 comments. But it's obvious that 5,000 people aren't seeing his posts. So here's one that I posted in a group yesterday. This is, if you guys, especially you Filipinos on the call over here, if you're not part of, if you're what is it called again? You know you're Filipino when, ... That's the name of the group. So I posted this one here. It's a simple and sweet post. It just says, if you're wearing a mask, how are you supposed to point? Because it's a bad reference to Filipinos and lip pointing. If you look over here, the engagement was huge, 535 likes, and we have about 58 comments on there. So you probably ask yourself, how could someone get 500 likes, 58 comments, and then you got somebody else who might not even get 1 or 2 likes and has 5,000 friends? So we're going to talk about how you can build up and get to that level where you're getting a lot of engagement. And just the other day, I just posted something pretty silly about everyone wearing Walmart and Target clothes. And I think that got a pretty good engagement, close to 100 likes, over 50 comments. The same thing with that. And I don't have a lot of friends. So here's a couple of things you want to ask yourself in order to pursue the organic angle on Facebook. Because keep in mind, like I said earlier, it's not for everyone. First thing is, do you have at least 1,000 friends? And if you don't, let's get you to that. But here's the warning. Number one, if you don't currently have online habits, and earlier we talked about looking at our phone a couple hundred times a day, I strongly consider not even going to Facebook and just not even doing organic stuff and just going to ads or hiring somebody to do it. Because let's face it, there's some people that's the equivalent of tone deaf. You guys know who I'm talking about. You've seen them look at their phone before. Every time they look at their phone, they're very confused when they look at their phone. So we're not going to ask someone like that to do it, because go ahead and be a rock star and do the other things that are tried and true in your industry. Go ahead and just pay for ads. Consider doing that. And we'll talk about how to do that in a bit. And then if you are the type who is pretty savvy, and I got to assume that the majority of the people on the Zoom call are pretty savvy because you got on the Zoom call. Yep. I was getting some text messages from people saying, I can't get on, but I can't help them right now. So if you're on the Zoom call, likely you can navigate through a lot of technology, and you can get to at least the minimum organic reach. So start with adding people. If you're not at 1,000 friends, add people from your childhood, your high school, coworkers, past clients, networking groups, family, everyone from FACCOC, add all of them. And what you want to do, because I think the majority of people that I saw in the room right now happen to rely on local transactions. So definitely you want to concentrate on getting your local type of connections in the area. And obviously the people from the East Coast, your family there, even though it's great to stay in touch, they're more like padded friend numbers. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. The next level, let's say you tap out at 300 friends just from adding your childhood friends, your high school coworkers, past clients, and all that. Next level, if you want to break out of that little bubble, you're going to have to join Facebook groups. And Facebook groups, just like the one we have for the Filipino Chamber, it's called Diverse Orange County Business Owners. Join that. Join your local buzz. I'm part of what's called Your Belinda Buzz. And that one, it's pretty often that I'll get a couple hundred responses on a Facebook, on that Facebook group. And actually I got a transaction out of that. I'll be selling a house this week out of that Facebook group. And it's not because I advertise it, just simply, it's just going in a room and it's talking to people. They're going to naturally look at your profile and see, what does this guy do? And then all of a sudden I get in my inbox, the person's asking me, hey, I want to buy an investment property. So it turned out that went out and showed them homes, and then we're in escrow. So go out and go into Facebook, your city buzzes, your interest groups. I also belong to my hometown group, which is the Cerritos group, your homeowners association, your kids' sports teams, all those other groups, all the groups that are locally based. And then don't just start adding people right off the bat, because then, especially if you have like a slick profile pic and and I always get friend requests from lenders or other affiliates. We're not going to add you. Make sure you get some kind of rapport going first, and then you'll see that when you get this rapport going, the people's actually going to friend request you. But before I forget, on the whole next level thing, if you're out there posting a lot, get into the habit of checking your other inbox, or it's called message requests. You don't see it on your phone, unfortunately. You see it on your desktop, and it's in your message request box. I don't want to open mine right now because of that. I might have some private stuff in there, but that when you open that up, you want to check, because I remember I didn't check my other mail or the message request for 3 months. And it just turns out 2 people wanted to sell their house. And if you can imagine, if I'm looking at 10,000 commission on each one, I lost out on $20,000 all because I didn't check my message request. So definitely check that. Check it every week if you can, especially if you're out there on Facebook an awful lot. So let's talk about why someone like me is able to go out there and get post reach, and while others are struggling where they might get 1 like and sometimes 0 likes. Let's talk about the history of Facebook for a little bit. And my history personally starts in about 2008. So 2008 to 2010, Facebook stayed relatively the same. And that's what I would call FIFO, first in, first out. Every post that went up, and if you had 200 friends and 200 friends were online, it was likely they were going to see your post. It was first in, first out. And even better than that, they had something called the highlights off to the right. And I was able to leverage that, and it got to a point where more than half of my business was coming from Facebook those first years. In about 2010, maybe beginning of even 2009, that's when something really significant happened in Facebook. Some of you guys know what happened. You guys probably know, there's some of you nodding your head. It's something called the news feed. The news feed ended up just filtering everything out, and it got very tough to do business on Facebook. So if you can imagine what Facebook was doing is they were trying to avoid going by the way of email. Everyone who remembers email in the mid to late 90s, it was very pure, very good way of communicating, and all it took was chain letters and a bunch of spam to ruin the experience. So what Facebook did is they did not want to go that route, and they created the news feed. And the newsfeed unfortunately created for me the dark ages, and I was unable and very tough. It was tough for me to generate any kind of business out of Facebook until about 2014, unfortunately. 2010 to 2014, I almost went dark from doing business on Facebook. So what's going on with today? So today the algorithm's a lot more loose, and it's definitely more based on people who engage the most. So what it wants is it wants to improve Facebook's experience for people, and they want to lessen the negativity, lessen the spamming. So let's figure out how they are able to do that. And keep in mind, this is me talking on April 1st, 2020. Now the algorithm could change in 2021. This is what it is today, just based on my own tests. One way you can improve your own reputation. Every poster has a reputation. And if you don't believe me, go into any group, and as soon as you start interacting with a lot of people, it'll say contributor. I forget some of the titles that they give you. But then, oh, conversation starter is the title I often get in some of the groups. So you want to become a conversation starter, not only in the groups, but also on your own timeline. When you get that, Facebook will give you some reach love, if you will, because you definitely want to get up there where that red line is. And the way you improve your reputation, it's kind of the golden rule. I can't believe how many people don't follow this first one. Respond to people on your posts. When people respond to you, it's kind of like them saying hi to you on the street, and you just shine them off if you don't even like what they said or even reply to them. Reply to them when you can, because that's a higher form of engagement than just liking. And then actually the highest form of engagement with any of your sphere, because everyone talks about their top 20, that's within their Facebook audience, because some people think that it's 20 people that your post reaches. Use Facebook Messenger. You'll see as soon as you use Facebook Messenger with anybody, and they reply, of course, you can't just be sending random messages and cut and paste all that, because they're smarter than that. But if they actually reply to you, their post and your post for them will reply at the top of their timeline. So use the Facebook Messenger and interact with different people. Don't stick to the same 2-3 people. I know people who do that on Facebook. It's like their little clique. It's like, why are you on social media? No, go out there and make sure you keep coming out of your comfort zone every so often, especially with the people you just became friends with on Facebook. And then here's some do's and don'ts. Do live videos. Live is the highest form of notification. It'll show up just up on anybody's notifications that are on Facebook at that time. Any of your 5,000 friends, Clement, all 5,000, if they were all to go online, you're going to receive a notification. Facebook likes photos, and Facebook definitely likes video. Use emojis is the second one. If you, for those of you who post on your desktop and you can't find the emojis, I actually don't like the emojis that are on Facebook itself on their dashboard. I go to iemoji.com and I grab the emojis from there because it looks like the ones from your phone. And then a good post also asks questions. It's not about yourself. Let your audience talk about themselves. They're more willing to interact with you. And then Facebook loves posts. If you look back on any of your posts for the last 3 years, the one that likely got over 100 likes is usually something you celebrated. It was a work promotion. It was your birthday, an anniversary, a child's birth, something like that. Facebook loves it when people are chiming in with congratulations or anything that would give off a happy vibe, because they're definitely trying to improve the experience with everyone, so they keep coming back. Here's a couple of things what not to do. Try to avoid, and again, these are based off my own tests, avoid links to your own site. So I go to my timeline or go to your own timeline, you'll realize that even if you're trying to quote like the Wall Street Journal or LA Times or anything like that, you're gonna get very little interaction because Facebook doesn't like people clicking off of Facebook. That's what I believe why they do that. But especially if I do a link to my own website, and my website, let's face it, I didn't build Zillow or anything like that. I have a low traffic website. It gets a reasonable amount of traffic, but if I put a link to it, that's pretty much the kiss of death. Facebook's not gonna let anybody see that one. And then if you put excessive tags, so you guys probably seen that where it says, I'll pick on Clement again because I can see his face here. Clement Tagle is with 50 other people and he tags 50 people. What Facebook does is they got smart about that a while back. They're gonna make sure almost only those 50 people see it. So don't do that. Sometimes it also gets irritating on my side when I don't know that person very well. You know, of course, if you guys on the call, like if Eddie or Jenelle tag me, I'll gladly take the tag and I'll run with it on my timeline. But then, you know, someone I just met and let's say some kind of affiliate is trying to sell me something, I'm not going to accept the tag. So don't do that. And using text within your images and video. They went to that a while back because of people were using even whiteboards and things like that. If you don't believe me that Facebook could detect that there's text in your video, go try it on a Facebook ad. It'll tell you that there's too much text in there and it'll actually start pushing down the reach on it. And avoid sales phrases. Free with a bunch of exclamation points. Even if you look at my real estate posts, I even avoid putting a $ sign in there because anything that where Facebook thinks it's a sales pitch, they want you to pay for that. So they're going to push that reach down. So actually, before I go on there, I'm just going to go into an example for an ad. Because let's say you decided that you're not going to pay for all of that. So I'm going to actually come over here, and there's a couple of ways to do an ad audience. I can't go through this whole thing because of, let's face it, you could just go on YouTube. There's better videos to watch on how to create YouTube ads. There's someone that I follow named Dan Wood. Dan Wood, it's just spelled D-A-N and W-O-O-D. I think he has like 20,000 subscribers. He's the one with a white background for his profile pic. It just says Dan Wood in cursive writing. But then he's a great one to follow for Facebook and AdWords. But then I'm just going to go into a brief example over here. For those who are thinking about my services, just know that I never show your ads in a public setting like this. So what I'm doing is I'm actually showing one of my very old ads. That way I'm not showing any of my clients' ads here. So here's one that I sent out there, and this one was a little before they came up with the ridiculous rules on housing. In housing now, they They don't really let us target. But back when they did let us target, I could actually target specific neighborhoods, and I could actually play videos for those people to see. I didn't mean to play the audio that loud. But then I just sent it out to these 4 buildings over here, and then I would have a lead magnet on the very bottom. I don't know if my form's going to show here, though. But all I had, it was pretty simple, where it just asked them to fill out their email, their cell phone number, and then I asked them what their best time to call was. So you can do targeting, and then this one over here, just to give you an idea, for $50 spent, I would get about 10 leads. And not all those leads, not all of them would be good phone numbers, if you can imagine, but I have no problem prospecting. And when I would call them, I would definitely go into a script. I know a lot of you guys who are on the call are good on the phone. I know Joseph, he's terrific on the phone. He'll know exactly what to do. So if we were to create a campaign for you and they were to click on learn more and they fill out their info, if Joseph were to call them, he knows how to work his magic. He knows how to go set an appointment. So that's one type of audience there. Now, some of you are thinking to yourself, I don't want to call up strangers. I just want referral business. Jay talked about that earlier. He doesn't want to deal with low qualified leads. So let me share something with you that Neil Estrada and I did not too long ago. Facebook also lets you upload your CRM or your spreadsheet, whatever you want to call it, your database. Everyone has a database, by the way, even if you don't think you do. If you send out Christmas cards, you have a database. So this is what Facebook allows you to do. Here's my database that I share with, you can see on the right side, actually. I added my mom's contacts because of my mom's a former realtor, so I want to get her past clients there. I think I have some of Neil's friends and family in there. And what you could do is all these names in here, and I blacked out the contact info, obviously, because we're on a public call. If you can see over here, I could keep scrolling. I think I have over 500 in my database. So 600, okay, so it's just gonna keep scrolling. So I have over 600 there. Some of you might even have 1,000 or so. So what you could do with that database is you could actually upload that into Facebook and make sure that if you're putting out an ad for people that know you, make sure that it shows your face, because if you're just showing your branding, sometimes they don't even know what your branding is. A lot of times they just know you by you. They know you by your face that they've seen at the family party last weekend. So if you want to do a campaign where it's only showing up to your friends and your family, or I even have a database just for the chamber, but that's something where you only need to spend like $20 a month. Just because you don't want to show up in front of them, every day, then they just get sick of you and they'll actually block you. So if you just spend like $40 a month, you're going to show up in front of them just a couple of times a week, and then you don't have to post anything personal on your own personal page. And then how am I doing on time, Clement?
You have until 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay, but I'm wrapping up anyway. So then, why do people fail at online marketing? And this was always the big question for me, because there are years where I'll be 100% honest with you, where I spent maybe $5,000 and sold one house out of certain campaigns. Obviously, nobody wants to do that, but there's a lot of lessons learned. A lot of lessons learned from all the people that I mastermind with. Everybody, like I said earlier on, nobody bats 100. Nobody goes 10 for 10 when they get 10 leads. They have a funnel. They're going to get so many names, and then they're going to convert so many. Real estate happens to be one of the lowest converting industries because of our time to conversion is so long. And that's also why you see discount brokerages going out of business every day. You had Purple Bricks go under. Redfin hasn't recorded a profit for the 12 years they've been in existence. So they just keep operating on house money. So why do a lot of people fail at online marketing? Ideally, people love to just get that inbound call. Of course, in real estate, I'd love to get that call that says, "Hey, Edwin, we want to sell our house." "Oh, when can I come over?" "Oh, you come over this weekend. It's ready." Let's face it, in the real world, that does not happen. A lot of times it'll be, "Edwin, I'm thinking about selling my house." And of course, I'll still ask, "Hey, when can I come over?" maybe next week, but we don't have a place ready yet. Call us next week. So you're going to be chasing people an awful lot, regardless if you're doing online marketing or if you're doing just all referral business. So then the way you can enhance that funnel, you could do Facebook ads, you could do organic, and you could do, let's say, what Jenelle was doing, you want to do AdWords on top of that. And AdWords, you could go 3 routes for a video, by the way. You could go with a search ad. You could go with a skippable ad. You know, that's the one that people can't wait to hit the skip button on. And then you could do a site ad. And then the ones you don't convert with those, you could throw into Constant Contact, your CRM, Salesforce, whatever you might have. And then Jay also has, with the Tag Network, he has texting campaigns because of, you guys probably got that text notification from FACCOC to get you to the app. You could do that for your business too. And then the people you did not convert, you could stay in touch with them through texting. And then what I could do on the Facebook side is I can retarget people that might have been interested in your ads a month ago, 2 months ago. I think I could go about 18 months back, but you might want to check with Dan Wood's videos. But Facebook retargeting, you could definitely keep them in your funnel. And then AdWords, you could also retarget. So if there was someone who clicked on one of Jenelle's videos 6 months ago and she wants to definitely stay top of mind with them and show up on an AdWords partner website, she could do that. And then, of course, you're going to pick up the phone. That's what we're supposed to be good at. Pick up the phone and call them. So here's my tips to conversion. I can't believe it's there's clients that I sign up and then they tell me, Edwin, it's not working. And then first question I'll ask is, well, how many people did you contact out of those 10 leads you got last week? And some of them will say, I tried calling 2 of them. Like, what are you paying all this money for if you're not even going to pick up the phone and call up your leads? So the most crucial thing, number 1, it's speed to lead. In the real estate industry, we say you have to call your lead within 5 minutes. If you've shopped for a car, you know this is very true because of by the time that let's say you call them the next day, a lot of times they already signed up on like 3-4 other websites or filled out 3-4 other forms. And then if there's no answer, leave a voicemail because of people don't pick up from phone numbers they don't recognize. So you definitely want to leave a voicemail. It's going to transcribe that voicemail, especially for people iPhone, Android. And then right after that, you want to text them. Hey, this is Edwin. You filled out my form. I was just seeing if I could help you out. I saw you were looking at the property on 123 Main Street. Wanted to see if you wanted to get a showing. And then after that, since you have their email address, email them. And then if you still get no response, you're going to have to repeat and follow up for 5 days. So I got the time signal for Eddie that we're going to be wrapping up over here. Here's how to contact me. This is my cell phone number there. And then I'll be taking any questions if we have time for questions. Professor Eddie.
All right, any questions? Feel free to go ahead and type away. And if you haven't had a chance to fill out that form, that would be awesome if you can, especially if you want to stay in contact. I know that there are several students that may be still on. Make sure you also fill out that form. And if you need me to contact your instructor to prove and verify you attended, I'll need that information that you filled out on the form. Okay, any questions? Give folks a few moments if they're still typing away, but at the bottom, you may have a reaction tagline. Yes, I see you, Susie. You gave the applause, and then there's the thumbs up. This is a very...
Ron has a question on me.
Yeah, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
And I think is that Ron, our web guy?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so Ron's asking, what is the main information you will need to, from a business to start a Facebook campaign? Well, there's a couple of minimal things because I know Jenelle talked about having a website there. I say you have to have a website, and I use that term loosely because a Facebook actually could set up a leads campaign where you get their information before they actually see your real content on the website. So at a minimum, you have to have some kind of landing page, and that landing page has to have a privacy policy. So it just says like we use cookies and all of that stuff there. So if you just have that at a minimum, that's enough to get someone's phone number on Facebook. But then of course, that'll hurt your conversion if you just send them to some bogus page because you don't have testimonials there. It doesn't look legit.
All right. All right. Thank you. A couple comments here. Any other questions? All right. I don't see anything here. All right. First of all, kind of like hit that reaction button for an applause for all of our speakers who did an amazing job and did their thing and shared their personal insights of what it is that they do. So round of applause to everybody for doing their work. Like I said earlier, this is like our first time doing this, running live, and we ran into a few kinks. Hopefully it worked out well for everyone. But we're really happy to do this, and we look forward to future endeavors where we'll be able to connect with all of you in, again, a digital frame. So Clement, is there anything that you want to share? Because then I'll pass it off to Joseph in a second. So go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you everyone for your participation today. We had a great session, a lot of important information that will be useful, especially in this time of crisis. A lot of information regarding how to market your organizations through the social media and to use the electronic tools that we have at our disposal, which I'm afraid really is our only option under these circumstances. So thank you very much to the presenters. Thank you very much to participants. And I'm hopeful that you guys learned a lot of things. I'm sure you did.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you so much. Joseph, go ahead and wrap things up. Final word.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you all. I want to thank our speakers, Lindsey Poker from US Bank. Thank you, Joanna, for being on the call as well, our major sponsors. Thank you to Jenelle. Thank you to Edwin. Thank you to Jay. I mean, great lineup of speakers. We actually hit 52, which is great. And we were at between 48 and 52. Eddie, thank you very much for bringing this all together, and the co-chair as well with Clement. Thank you to our ambassadors. Thank you to our elite members. They were all on the call. I could see them. A lot of them I knew. Very impressed. And peace to everyone.
Yeah. Follow us. Stay tuned for future events. Be well, stay safe as you all shelter in place.
Take care.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Stop the recording. Yeah. It looks like there were actually questions on Facebook Live. I wasn't keeping up.
Oh, I saw a few, but
yeah,
I think they were done.
One for Jenelle.